Anthony Joshua insists he won't be sleeping on Kristian Prenga, especially with a blockbuster showdown against Tyson Fury finally within punching distance.
It's a massive year for me. When I sat down with Eddie and that team, there was an opportunity to fight Prenga, of course. And then they also said, but we want to extend that deal and give you an opportunity to fight Tyson Fury. Now, you put any fighter in that position where I was, they're saying, let me sign that contract. Give me the opportunity to fight Prenga, give me the opportunity to fight Fury, give me the opportunity to fight for the championship. It ain't about looking past anyone, it's just knowing your purpose and knowing your steps forward and moving up the ladder. I've got a clear goal, I know what this year's about, I know how tough this year's gonna be, but I'm definitely the man for the job.
Joshua spent roughly 5 years as the marquee attraction in boxing's heavyweight division, collecting 3 of the sport's 4 major world titles along the way. At the time, a clash with fellow Brit Tyson Fury, who held the one belt AJ didn't, would have been to crown an undisputed king. It had all the ingredients to become one of the biggest events in boxing history, but negotiations collapsed again and again. With Fury off the table, AJ turned his attention to the former undisputed cruiserweight champ Alexander Usyk, only to drop consecutive unanimous decisions to the Ukrainian. Usyk then landed AJ's long sought-after Fury fight and emerged as the undisputed champion. Since then, Joshua has only received 1 more shot at heavyweight gold, but that opportunity also ended badly when Daniel Dubois stopped him inside the distance.
It's hard to stay at the top, you have to have something special, something about you, and I've got that fire, and I belong here. I don't do this as a joke, I do this because it's what I do, it's what I'm good at. And I want to prove it this year and time again moving forward. I'm looking forward to it, man. But as I said, everything I say is not faced towards him. If you hear, it's all about me. They keep talking about me, I just say they keep digging a grave. But I'm just focusing on myself.
The 36-year-old hasn't competed since flattening YouTuber Jake Paul with a 6th-round knockout last December. But the layoff wasn't by design. Joshua stepped away from the sport after being involved in a fatal car accident that claimed the lives of 2 close friends. With his head now in a better place, AJ views Prenga, a former kickboxer who has gone 20-1 with 20 knockouts since turning to boxing, as the first step on another run toward the summit. Prenga, however, has very different plans.
When my manager is calling me, he said, you have big opportunity, you're gonna fight AJ. First, I don't believe it, but I said, let's go. It's my time now.
If Joshua gets past the Albanian this July 25th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the long-discussed Fury showdown is expected to finally hit later this year. But Prenga's mission is simple: make sure that never happens. In front of a record-setting hometown crowd in Texas, Stephanie Hahn survived another fierce challenge from boxing legend Holly Holm to retain the WBA lightweight crown. The rematch's razor-thin majority decision, however, came despite Holm comfortably winning the punch count. Hahn claimed a technical decision in their first encounter after an accidental head clash opened a cut on her forehead. This time, both women were more aggressive, but it was Holm who seized control through the middle rounds and looked destined to ruin the homecoming. At 44, Holly has now gone 1-2 since her return to pugilism after a 12-year hiatus. It's understandable that the former UFC bantamweight champion left the ring frustrated, seeing as she outlanded Hahn in 8 of the 10 rounds. I feel like I won that fight, said Holm. I want to keep fighting if it's fair. It's disheartening when you put that kind of work in. It's kind of frustrating. With one combat sports icon now in the rearview mirror, Hahn has her sights set on another all-time great, Katie Taylor, one of the most accomplished pound-for-pound fighters women's boxing has ever produced.
Tonight, Taylor!
I know everyone wants Katie, but she beat my sister Jennifer Hahn years ago, and I want to get revenge for her, said Steph. I came back to boxing to help my sister prepare for Katie Taylor, and it would be an honor to be her last fight. I would go to Ireland for that. Fresh off a 3rd victory over Amanda Serrano in the defining trilogy of women's boxing, Taylor has made it clear she wants one final bout before retirement. Hahn holds a title in Taylor's former weight class, but whether that or Hahn is a big enough draw for Taylor's farewell is another thing entirely. As for Serrano, she handled her own business in the co-main events by stopping Cheyenne Hansen in round 2 to retain her unified featherweight crown. The victory also matched Christy Martin's long-standing women's boxing record with her 32nd career knockout. Days before the fight, Serrano revealed that 2026 will likely mark the end of her professional career. She also made no secret of her intention to chase down Martin's knockout mark, which has stood since 2005. It clearly showed too, as Serrano went hunting from the opening bell and never let up. Hansen gamely exchanged early, but the real deal found another gear, landing 29 of her 53 power shots in the second round, completely overwhelming Hansen and forcing the stoppage. The victory leaves Serrano within touching distance of another 2 major career milestones, when the 7-division champion returns later this year.
And women won.
I can break the knockout record in my next fight, Serrano said. I can get my 50th win and break Christy Martin's knockout record. In other results from Texas, Desley Robinson and Lulu Juarez successfully defended their championships on the same card, and across town, O'Shaki Foster retained his WBC junior lightweight title by squeezing past Raymond Ford with a majority decision. Meanwhile, on the other side of the boxing world, Dmitry Bivol ended his 15-month layoff with a dominant title defense in Russia, pitching a near-perfect shutout against Mikhail Eifert to retain his WBA and IBF light heavyweight belts. Bivol, whose profile exploded after his upset victory over Canelo Alvarez in 2022, last fought in February of 2025, when he defeated Artur Beterbiev in their rematch to capture the undisputed light heavyweight championship. A third fight with Beterbiev was expected, but the WBC mandated a defense against David Benavidez. Bivol vacated the belt to pursue the trilogy, and when those plans stalled, the IBF ordered the bout with Eifert, and then back surgery in August delayed everything even further. What's next isn't even up to him. This bout was only for Bivol's IBF and WBA titles because the WBO is not sanctioning championship bouts in Russia while the Russia-Ukraine war is ongoing.
Okay, no problem.
At the UFC in Macau, Song Yadong prevented a complete whitewash for the home nation. The Chinese contender punished the former 2-time flyweight champion Deiveson Figueiredo's wrestling with a second-round guillotine before immediately calling for his shot at gold. While Song pressed forward early, Figueiredo found success with a heavy right hand, but then repeatedly failed with his takedowns until round 2. That's when Song locked onto the guillotine, and moments later, Figueiredo tapped, and Song called for his title shot. "I'd like to fight a rematch with Petr Yan," said the Chinese star, "but it's not that easy." After defeating Song in 2024, Yan reclaimed the bantamweight championship in December of 2025. While he's in the market for an opponent, it's highly unlikely that it will be Song. That's because before running into Yan, Song was stopped by former title challenger Corey Sandhagen. And since the loss to Yan, Song dropped a decision to the former champ Sean O'Malley. Both of these men are ranked ahead of Song in the bantamweight standings, which means Song may need another marquee win before reaching the front of the line. It was a quick card in Macau with just 3 fights making it to the final bell and 7 fights ending in the first round. Among those quick finishes was the fight of the night between Alonso Menefeld and Zhang Mingyang. Bonus checks went to Song and Kai Asakura. In other UFC news, the welterweight champion Islam Makhachev is waiting for confirmation on his next title defense, but he's already identified both a preferred date and opponent. Makhachev hasn't fought since dismantling Jack Della Maddalena to capture the 170-pound title at UFC 322 in November of 2025. Since then, 3 names have emerged as the leading challengers: Ireland's Ian Machado Gary, Brazil's Carlos Prates, and Michael Morales from the United States. Now, the champion has set his sights on UFC 330 in Philadelphia this August 15, and he has a favorite among those contenders. August, I will be ready, said Makhachev. A lot of contenders, but number one is Ian Machado Gary, and we still have a couple more who want to take the belt, but I don't give it to no one. And moving away from the UFC, former Bellator and One Championship king Ben Askren is preparing to compete again, marking his first appearance since the health crisis that should have killed him. To put it mildly, this sounds absurd. This video is from July 26, 2025, 4 days after getting home from hospital after a battle with severe pneumonia. He later revealed that he died 4 times during the horrific ordeal, underwent a double lung transplant, and then shed 50 pounds during the recovery process. This was just 1 year ago, and now he's going to compete in freestyle wrestling.
Ashley, hardest me to curl.
While the event will mark Funky Ben's first outing in RAF, the 2-time NCAA Division I wrestling champion hasn't competed in combat since a huge knockout loss to Jake Paul in a professional boxing match in 2021. His next opponent? Askren is scheduled to face former UFC champion Belal Muhammad in a freestyle wrestling match. Muhammad is 37 years old and, notably, still competes with the lungs he was born with. You guys all watched me on my deathbed last year. You guys watched me go through something incredibly hard, he said, ignoring the understatement. I think the way I've been able to bounce back from it has been inspiring to many people, and I'm not going to stop doing that.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.